Hi, my name is Eleanor. I am 14 years old. This is my blue and gold macaw, Sam. He is 17 years old and he has been in my family for 17 years. Sam's flight background was close to none throughout most of his life. I can only recall 2 times where he flew on his own, and that first time was around the house when I was very young that my dad happens to tell me often of. Why I chose Freeflight, I saw a lot of potential after his outdoor fly-off because he was showing signs of wanting to fly, and I saw potential in almost what most would say an impossible bird. Before BirdTricks, Sam was on a pretty bad diet. He was eating a fruity pellet, a lot of a fruity pellet. He had a lot of peanuts every single day without working for them, which made him overweight. And he only ever got fruit as a source of fresh food. He refused to eat any vegetables, and his behavior overall was just not great. He'd be extremely ornery at times. How I found BirdTricks was quite literally searching up parrot care online. And the BirdTricks YouTube channel came up, and the first video I saw come up personally was a video with Jinx and Jamie. And I looked up Freeflight and all of that, and I found nothing helpful, and the only thing helpful I found was BirdTricks. And that is where I started Instagram DMing Dave and being like, hey, I want to free fly my, at the time, 16-year-old macaw. Is it possible? And that's where it all started. So I watched all of BirdTricks free flight videos several times over, and I knew Sam's journey was going to be so much more different for many reasons, and probably the biggest one is his age. And there's nothing wrong with that. I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I also knew it was possible because he was motivated. I saw the potential in him, and I knew he could do it, and I believed in him, and he did. Maybe not for the first few days, but he did. And like when watching these videos or even being there in person, you see these young birds flying and doing these giant exploratories and just all of these crazy things. And I was like, you know, Sam could do that one day. There's an example of several, like Katie's story with Mia. But that takes time. I'm proud of him for what he's done, but I also knew his journey is going to be so much more different than these birds because he's not as young. At first, yeah, it was very discouraging at first because I remember taking him out in batting nets and he'd do great, but once I got to Hanksville, he was frozen for a day on his perch, just sitting there like, I was like, come on, Sam, you've been doing these big giant long flights for a while and you're in shape and you're doing great. What happened? And then it kicked in that he's older. He is a lot older, and he's not, it's the baby steps. Like, you build that all up inside, but then you take him outside and they're like, even if they are desensitized, since he's older, he's going to be like, well, we've been doing this in this house the whole time. What now? Because I've never seen this place, I've never been to this place, it's all new. And I was really discouraged, and I was like, but wait a minute. This is his first time. And also, I was really scared that day because I never saw Dave or Jamie in person. And I was like, dang, are they gonna judge me? No, except for Jamie did get on me a little bit, which I thank her for.
I'm the judgy one.
You're not the judgy one.
Cut that out of there.
go further?
Yeah. Yeah, you can keep trying to go further.
Some of the biggest struggles I had through Sam's free flight training and the overall course, there are several. It's not just one. There are so many, and a lot of that stems from the past, but also a lot of it stems from the time of year. I started with the training in April. It was great then, but we were only having like, all right, there's videos of just walking back and forth probably for a couple weeks. And so that was great. So most of that was spent conditioning. And then we got into summer and it got so hot. There were days where the thermometer was in the sun and it was showing 124. It was insane. And so naturally, not having any AC where we were and it being incredibly smoky, that is when our progress started going down. Those weeks were hard. I felt very discouraged through that, probably more discouraged than seeing all these other birds do these things, because I knew he could do it, but the environment was not right for it. There were times where I was like, why can't I just have air conditioning? Or we were also moving in the process, so boxes were packed up all around. There's probably a video in the file of where there's just boxes stacked up behind me and all around. My room looks just bare and all that's left is Sam's stands. That was challenging. And then there's the factor of getting him into shape. He never fledged. He was clipped for most of his life, so wasn't sure if it was possible for a long time. He has so little muscle mass in his wings. Is he going to be able to do this? Does he have arthritis? Is it hurting him? Because he always makes this rah noise before going. I was like, is it hurting him? And I think that it was a very special experience to go through all of that. I think it was very eye-opening. I'm having a lot more success even with other birds through what I've learned through this course. And there are all these factors, and sometimes days were hard with him. But I think those days made the better days even better because we had so much success some days. So when I first enrolled into the free flight course, it of course started with a consult. That is how that started, and that a lot of that was food, right? And okay, so we start consultations, and I said my checkout, and pretty much the only way I knew that Dave was not going to take my money is when he said, I'm not cashing this check until I see a flight from Sam. There is a video out there that has me encouraging Sam to fly in a very painful way for me to watch, to the point where I have completely ridded that video from existence on my phone.
Ah! I didn't press record. He just flew. Hey. Why am I? Yeah, but come here. Here, let's try it again. He just flew. He did so well. Oh my. Ready? Oh God. Come here. You're trying, but you hold on. Oh, good boy. Good boy. Did we get that? We got that. Good job. Good job. Right. I was doing the table with him, and he was getting really motivated, and he started flapping his wings and sliding across the table, and so I took him over to his perch. He, of course, moved the paper. I didn't catch the first time, and I meant to, but I didn't press record. And I just squat down, and I let him do a little flight, and I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. Oh, I'm so happy I got that. Good boy. Good boy. You did so good. That's such a good sign.
I just don't like it. But basically it was a perch right here and I was right here. And I just, launched him onto the perch. So getting outside for the first time, it was challenging. In Escalante, he was doing flights like that pretty consistent, and then that kept going. And especially with a bird like him, it is constant upkeep because he will lose the muscles if I don't work with him frequently. And that is because of past, and he never got the chance to develop those, so it's constant upkeep for him. But it is far from over, very far from over. The rest of my life, I will be doing A to Bs in a room with him on probably the same perch. This is just at the beginning. I know he's going to keep progressing, and I'm excited to see it. I'm happy that it was possible. You can do it with older birds. It's not impossible, it's just harder. And there's videos of people on the BirdTricks channel with their birds in a week, they just jump in weeks. That's what Dave told me the first time. He was like, well, with baby birds, you'll just see these huge leaps and strides, but with Sam, it's gonna be a step forward and then a few back, and it's more steps forward and a few back. So, if you did not notice, there is a Congo African Grey right here. She is 25 and her name is Squeaker. She has been in the family for 25 years. My grandmother hand-raised her with a syringe from a very, very, very young age. And my grandmother passed and she went to me. And so she is my next little prodigy. And there's a lot of hurdles. She is obviously older, which is fine if you haven't picked that up from this video. But I do not want to outdoor free fly her because I feel like it's going to be too much stress for her. But indoor free flight seems like a good option. And I'm excited for that.